The teasers dropped. The fandom went silent. In an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down. The headline read, "She might never perform again. IU's heartbreaking announcement." Welcome to StarScope K-Report. Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Hallyu wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
It is genuinely just a really heavy day in the industry today.
Yeah, it really is. And for today's deep dive, we are setting up, a really comprehensive look for you all into this sudden and honestly devastating hiatus of the reigning queen of K-pop, IU.
It's shaken the fandom to its absolute core.
Completely. And we've pulled together a massive stack of sources to try and make sense of this unprecedented pause. We're looking at official agency statements from EDM Entertainment, investigative reports from Sports Chosun and Osin Gulf News, and honestly, we've even had to dig deep into medical wikis today.
Yeah, the medical side of this is intense.
It is, because our mission today is to uncover this perfect storm of, physical illness, personal heartbreak, and really ruthless netizens that led to this moment.
Right. Because we aren't just looking at a delayed album drop here.
Right.
We are witnessing the breaking point of arguably the most resilient solo artist in the history of the Hallyu wave.
Okay, let's unpack this. Fans were, completely geared up for September 2026.
Oh, absolutely.
IU was slated to hold this massive concert at Goyang Stadium.
Right, kicking off the domestic tour.
Yeah, reuniting with her 9th-generation Uaena fans, and her 6th studio album was fully completed. The visuals were shot, tracks were mastered, everything was ready.
Done. Wrapped up.
But then EDM Entertainment just drops the bombshell. Everything is indefinitely delayed.
And the shockwave was immediate. I mean, you have to understand that an artist of IU's caliber, someone legendary for a relentless, almost punishing work ethic, they don't just pull the plug on a fully completed era unless something is profoundly structurally wrong.
Exactly. And following the agency's announcement, IU actually took to the fan platform Breeze with this deeply personal letter.
It was so sad to read.
It really was. She was incredibly vulnerable. She admitted she had pushed herself way too hard over the years, driven purely by this desperate desire to work.
Right, ignoring the toll it was taking.
Yeah, without looking at what it was doing to her body. She revealed that recently her physical symptoms have persisted day and night without stopping.
And that level of transparency is incredibly rare.
Oh, for sure.
The K-pop machinery usually hides behind these really vague, health issue or fatigue statements to protect the idol's image.
Just a generic hiatus announcement.
Exactly. But she named the exact medical demon she is fighting, which is Patulous Eustachian tube, or P-key.
And I'm going to be honest, I had to spend a lot of time in the medical wikis to understand what that actually means.
That's not a common ailment at all.
Not at all. So to grasp how debilitating this is, you kind of have to look at the anatomy. The Eustachian tube is this tiny canal connecting your middle ear, right behind the eardrum, to the back of your nose and throat.
And normally it's closed, right?
Right. Normally this tube acts like a perfectly sealed gate. It only pops open for a split second when you, swallow or yawn to equalize air pressure.
Just a quick pop.
Yeah, exactly. But for someone with K-pop, that gate is broken. It just stays intermittently open.
Which turns a vocalist's own body into a living nightmare.
Seriously, the medical sources describe this bucket on the head effect.
Ugh, that sounds awful.
Medically, it's called autophony. So it's basically like, when you get water trapped in your ear after swimming?
Yeah, where everything sounds muffled but loud.
Exactly, where your own voice sounds like it's vibrating and echoing inside your brain. But imagine that magnified by 100, and it never, ever stops.
Wow.
Because the tube is open, every internal sound, your heartbeat, your breathing, your chewing, it's transmitted directly to your eardrum.
What's fascinating here is how uniquely catastrophic this specific disorder is for a musician.
Yeah.
Like, if a dancer breaks an ankle, they can't dance. But if a singer develops PET, they quite literally lose their spatial and auditory reality.
Yeah, you can't even hear yourself sing properly.
Right. Think about IU's legacy. She is globally renowned for microscopic pitch control. Let's look back at her 2010 mega hit, Good Day.
Oh man, the legendary 3-note semitone increment.
Yes.
You can't talk about K-pop vocal history without mentioning that climax.
Right, where she climbs to a staggering F-sharp 5. I mean, acousticians and university professors have written academic papers analyzing her breath control, her frequency stability, and lung capacity during that exact sequence.
Wow, really? Academic paper.
Oh, yeah. She has this brilliant soprano range with mezzo-soprano warmth that requires absolute pinpoint precision. Now, imagine trying to execute that level of vocal engineering when your own voice is echoing distortedly inside your skull.
And your natural breathing sounds like a jet engine in your ear.
Exactly. When you sing, you rely on an auditory feedback loop. If your ear tells your brain the pitch is wrong because of the distortion, your vocal cords naturally tense up to compensate.
Which ruins the vocal. Yeah.
It makes it nearly impossible to maintain your vocalization sense.
That explains why the experts advised her that concerts are physically impossible right now.
Totally impossible.
Because, studio recording is one thing. You can stop, rest, drink water, you can control the acoustic environment.
Right.
But a stadium concert involves massive physical exertion, heavy sweating, and non-stop movement for 3 solid hours.
And physical exertion changes your upper airway pressure.
Oh, right.
With an open Eustachian tube, every heavy breath she takes on stage sends pressure straight to her eardrum, vibrating it violently.
That sounds painful.
It's not just exhausting, it's psychologically disorienting.
Okay, I hear what you're saying about the exertion of concerts, but I have to push back here.
Okay, what do you mean?
It feels like we are missing a massive piece of the puzzle. Because she didn't just get this diagnosis yesterday.
Right.
She first revealed she was battling this exact ear condition back in 2022, right around the time of her historic The Golden Hour concert at the Seoul Olympic Stadium.
That's true.
And she managed to pull off that historic show. So why is she collapsing now when she managed it before? Like, what triggered this sudden deterioration in 2026?
Well, to understand that, we have to look at what has been happening behind closed doors, because the physical symptoms are just the tip of the iceberg. Wait till you hear what Knet's uncovered next.
If you love staying updated on your favorites, make sure you're subscribed to StarScope K-Report. We've got even bigger scoops ahead.
So, bridging the gap between her ability to perform in 2022 and her total physical collapse in 2026 comes down to the primary triggers of Patulous Eustachian tube disorder.
Okay.
The medical literature points to 3 main culprits, which are rapid weight changes, extreme fatigue, and severe stress.
Wait, I'm confused. I get how stress causes fatigue, but how does emotional stress literally force a tiny tube in your ear to stay open?
It's bizarre, right?
Yeah, what's the actual physical connection there?
It actually comes down to fat.
Fat?
Yeah. In a healthy person, there is a microscopic layer of fatty tissues surrounding the Eustachian tube.
Okay.
And that fat acts like a cushion, holding the tube firmly closed.
Oh, I see.
When a person is subjected to extreme, prolonged trauma or stress, the body enters a constant state of fight or flight, flooding the system with cortisol.
Right, the stress hormone.
Exactly. Cortisol destroys your sleep cycle and halts your appetite. When overall body fat diminishes rapidly from that stress, those specific fatty tissues surrounding the ear tube actually shrink.
Wow, literally physically shrinking.
The structural support weakens and the tube literally falls open.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the timeline of her personal life aligns flawlessly with that medical explanation. According to a massive investigative report by Dispatch, IU and actor Lee Jong-suk have officially broken up.
Which was huge news.
Right. They had been publicly dating since 2022.
Yeah.
It was this 4-year relationship that the fandom absolutely adored.
Everyone loved them together.
But the agencies confirmed the split, with close friends citing they were simply too busy to maintain the relationship and chose to remain good colleagues.
And anyone who has gone through the end of a 4-year relationship knows the profound emotional grief that causes, no matter how amicable the press release makes it sound.
Yeah, press releases always make it sound so clean.
Right. But IU didn't get the luxury of processing that heartbreak in private.
No, she did not. She had to process it while fighting off one of the most vicious, coordinated waves of cyberbullying we've seen in the K-pop industry this year.
It was brutal.
Throughout the first half of 2026, she faced unimaginable mental strain from malicious commenters. And to give some context here, and we're just looking at what the reports say, not taking any political stance at all. This all started following her show of solidarity with the Ji-eun impeachment protesters.
Right, the political backlash.
Yeah, she instantly became the target of this bizarre, organized online backlash from Yoon supporters. It got so toxic that trolls were literally organizing campaigns telling people to, quote, report IU to the CIA.
The CIA.
Yes, the CIA.
That is so completely unhinged. I mean, it goes way beyond standard digital hate. That is a coordinated effort to incite international panic around a pop star.
It's completely absurd, but the sheer volume of that vitriol is designed to break a person down.
Absolutely.
But her agency, Edom, didn't just sit back. They launched massive international legal retaliation.
Good for them.
Yeah, they took the extraordinary step of filing a request for evidence disclosure in the United States District Court for Northern California against Meta platforms.
Going straight to Meta.
They are hunting down a specific Threads user operating under the handle at 7 asterisk asterisk asterisk, who systematically posted 52 completely false, highly defamatory articles designed to ruin her reputation.
52 articles. That's an obsession.
And now Edom is forcing Meta to hand over the user's name, phone number, and IP address for a civil lawsuit back in South Korea.
That shows you the absolute severity of the defamation. They aren't just blocking accounts. They are crossing international legal borders to unmask these people.
And it's part of a zero-tolerance policy. I mean, back in February, she was already pursuing criminal and civil lawsuits against 96 different online harassers.
96.
Wow. Yeah, and in May, one previous malicious commenter was sentenced on appeal to 4 months in prison, suspended for 1 year.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you start to see the dark reality of the K-pop pressure cooker. We constantly idolize these artists for their flawless visuals and perfect comebacks, but the ecosystem they exist in is uniquely
It
unforgiving.
really is.
Domestic netizens, or K-nets, can be absolutely ruthless. When you stack the deep, private grief of a public breakup on top of a highly organized, targeted political harassment campaign, it creates a psychological burden that the human brain just isn't built to carry.
It's the ultimate recipe for systemic burnout.
Think about the deep irony here.
Yeah.
The very work ethic that made her a legend, combined with this unimaginable digital stress, literally eroded the physical fat holding her ear closed.
Oh my God.
The cyberbullying and the heartbreak manifested as actual physiological destruction to her hearing. Her body literally consumed itself under the pressure.
Wow. It's like she's fighting a brutal war on 3 fronts, you know? Her heart, her health, and her haters. Anyone would collapse under that weight. But looking at this critically, with her comeback completely derailed, a stadium tour canceled, and her health failing in a way that directly attacks her primary instrument.
Right.
Is this the end of her reign as the queen of K-pop?
Looking at the sheer gravity of what she is facing, it's easy to write her off. But you're forgetting exactly who we're talking about here.
Fair point.
Later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking plot twist in her past that proves exactly why the industry shouldn't count her out just yet.
Well, we all know the legend of Lee Jong-suk, right? Surviving on potatoes in a roach-infested studio room, failing 20 different auditions.
Yeah, practically the industry's underdog turned absolute powerhouse.
The fandom knows that story by heart. We don't need to recite her whole Wikipedia page, but we really have to look at the weight of that history to understand why she absolutely refuses to quit now.
It's true. The contrast between that history and her current reality is staggering.
Definitely.
The girl who was scammed by fake entertainment agencies was named by Forbes Korea as the queen of K-pop and K-drama in 2025.
Her achievements are almost hard to comprehend. I mean, she holds 31 #1 singles.
That's insane.
That is the most in South Korean chart history. It is a historic, undeniable, all-kill legacy.
Oh, absolutely.
And she hasn't just hoarded that wealth and influence, you know. Her philanthropic efforts are deeply personal.
Right.
She's donated over 4.3 billion won over the years, supporting causes like the Deaf Senior Citizen Support Center.
Which is amazing.
And she was famously inspired to help them after learning sign language for her brilliant role in the K-drama My Mister. She even set up an ongoing scholarship at her own high school alma mater.
This raises an important question, though.
What's that?
How does a hardcore K-pop fandom react when their bias, a superstar holding up that much of the industry, is suddenly forced into an indefinite hiatus?
Right.
Because fandoms can be notoriously demanding. They expect constant content, back-to-back comebacks, and flawless live performances.
But the reaction from Uaena, both domestic and international, it was a masterclass in empathy.
It really was.
It speaks volumes about the genuine bond she has cultivated. Instead of complaining about the canceled Goyang Stadium tour or demanding the 6th album, the fandom flooded her with absolute support.
Which is so refreshing to see.
The comments taking over her platforms were entirely unified. Things like, health is the most important thing. You don't ever have to apologize, and we can wait any time.
It's beautiful because it proves her fans see Lee Ji-eun, the human being, not just IU, the idol machine.
Exactly.
And she met that grace with an incredible showing of sheer willpower. Let's look at the promise she made on Breeze.
Yeah.
She didn't just cancel everything and disappear into the shadows. She assured her fans that the sixth album is, in fact, fully finished.
Right, and in her letter, she mentioned something that just blew my mind. She said she found her own methods in the recording studio to work around the sound distortion of her ear condition.
Which is wild.
How does a singer even do that when their own voice is echoing in their head?
It's an insane feat of vocal engineering. To record a studio album with an open Eustachian tube means she was likely relying heavily on deep muscle memory, bone conduction, and perhaps even visual pitch monitors in the studio rather than trusting your own ears.
Wow, relying on visuals to pitch correct herself in real time.
It means every single vocal take was a calculated battle against her own biology.
That is just phenomenal. And she made a very specific promise to her fans. She said she will receive treatment, take every necessary measure, and focus entirely on improving her physical condition in the second half of the year. Her exact words were a promise to do her utmost so that she and her fans can start 2027 together in peak condition.
A promise from IU carries a lot of weight in this industry.
So what does this all mean? When we step back from the canceled dates and the medical terms, it forces us to deeply reflect on how the Hallyu wave treats its greatest assets.
It does.
The K-pop machinery constantly demands absolute visual perfection, grueling choreography, back-to-back comebacks, and flawless live vocals. But what is the ultimate lesson of this hiatus for the broader industry?
The ultimate lesson is that the human body always keeps the score. You cannot separate an idol's physical health from their psychological environment.
Right.
The industry's relentless, grinding pace, combined with the incredibly toxic digital culture of netizens, creates an ecosystem that is fundamentally unsustainable.
100%.
IU's situation is a massive wake-up call. It highlights that even the most successful, powerful, and historically resilient figures in entertainment have a breaking point.
Yeah, nobody is immune.
But more importantly, her choice to step back, to loudly prioritize healing over a grueling tour schedule, sets a massive precedent. It challenges the toxic industry standard that the show must go on no matter the cost. It proves that sometimes the most revolutionary, powerful thing a K-pop idol can do is simply stop, rest, and heal.
Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update as we follow IU's road to recovery.
It's going to be a fascinating journey to watch, especially given how transparent and honest she has been about her struggle.
It really is. And it leaves us with a provocative thought to chew on as we wrap up. In her Breeze letter, IU mentioned something very interesting. She noted that weather seems to have some influence on her Eustachian tube condition. And we know she's been pushing herself purely out of a desire to work.
Right.
But what happens if the medical treatments, which can be incredibly invasive and carry their own severe risks, as the medical wikis pointed out, aren't enough?
That's a scary thought.
What if the physical damage to her ear becomes a permanent reality and the autophony makes stadium tours impossible forever? Will the K-entertainment industry have to adapt to a future where the queen of K-pop shifts entirely to being the queen of K-dramas?
Or will a creative genius like IU simply redefine what a K-pop comeback looks like?
Exactly.
Pioneering a brand new era of music releases that don't rely on the traditional, grueling live concert tour. It's definitely something to think about.
It absolutely is. If anyone can rewrite the rules of the entire industry, it's her. You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.